The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Let me go to Peggy first. Hi, Peggy, you're on.
Hi, how are you?
Very good.
Just wanted to let you know that the link on the Blaze to the Fox News Radio was Todd Starnes.
Yes.
Has been taken down.
I will tell you that we noticed that a few minutes ago, and we are just checking with Fox News to make sure that it is not just not. I'm sure it's some electronic error that has made that link broke. I would imagine that Fox News Radio, who is reporting this, is not removing this story because somebody on their staff had confirmed it with several sources as well. But we'll let you know when that link is restored or if it's not. Appreciate it, Peggy. Thank you. Let me go to Lee. Hello, Lee. You're on the Glenn Beck program.
Hi, Glenn. You are a blessing to the Republic. For such a time as this, you are here. I called my congressman, Congressman Tipton, right after you asked us to call our congressman, and their words were, they're pretty sure Al Harvey has already been deported.
Mm-hmm. You need to ask your congressman if they are demanding answers.
Told me that Tipton is not on a committee. He is therefore not on the front lines, but he's aware of the situation and will stay on top of it.
Good. Thank you very much. Doesn't matter. Every congressman should stand together on this, Republican and Democrat, and find out where this guy is and if he's been deported already, why, and why this administration is lying to Congress yet again. On this week, we are going to be covering the Beslan school hostage crisis. This is something that most people have forgotten about. This comes from Chechnya, and really, really bad story to show you who these people really are. Also, the Saudi national, why wasn't he studying in Ohio as planned? How did he end up in school in Boston instead of Findlay, Ohio? It's a story that might be interesting to the American people that the mainstream media won't do. Also, the brothers' connection to the 12-man sleeper cell with Patrick Poole. That's on Tuesday. The history of terror, how Saudi Arabia is the world's largest funder of terror on this week. The Islamic Society of Boston Cultural Center kicking the two brothers out for claiming that it was, that they said Martin Luther King was not a man Muslims should emulate. We'll give you the full story on that one. And also pockets of terror following the Saudi money to locate the terror hotspots in Virginia, in Dearborn, and all of the places all around the United States. Stories you won't hear anyplace else. But if you want to solve it, great. Then we have to start telling each other the truth. I will tell you that it is not me that is doing this. I am giving the green light on these things, but I have an incredibly brave and talented staff. They have been working around the clock. They're very tired. We're very short-staffed. But they are doing a phenomenal job, all the way down from Carmen, who cleans the studios, all the way up. And I would ask that you would keep them in your prayers, because just please keep them in your prayers. All right. One of our employees is Buck Sexton. He is our national security advisor here on the Blaze, and he does a radio show on Saturday. So on Saturday afternoon, I'm listening to Blaze Radio, and I hear Buck talking to the aunt of the two terrorists from Chechnya. It didn't go well. I want you to hear now what happened on the Blaze Radio on Saturday.
I just wanted to relay the message to the public of Canada and America. I understand, most of them probably hate me by now, because some people, feel like this could be true about what's said about my nephew.
Yeah.
Some
We
people
kind of feel like it
are
could be.
sympathetic.
Hold on, just a sec. Stop for a second. Please, stop for a second. Why would you guys pick that apart?
Because some people feel like it could be true. Let's see.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah, we've got video evidence.
The only thing I pick apart is I'm not sure, we're not sure if this person is actually the aunt of these two. We did the best we could to verify. We think it is.
Sounds just like her, for sure.
Well, it could very well be the president of CNN or MSNBC. So we're not.
Yes, it could.
We're not sure.
We know it's not Melissa Harris Perry. There's no lisp. So we know it's not her.
And they have doubts that this could be true. I just want to share how I feel about this and what I think about this. My dear fellows, I respect people of all religions. I respect people of all ethnicities. I respect people of all colors. It's just two boys that have been claimed are terrorists, that have been accused of committing these atrocities on the streets of Boston. They are not who they...
Ms. Sarnaev, you are not a suspect, and no one has impugned your motives or your background, nor would any sane person impugn the motives of people from Chechnya, impugn the motives of Muslims overall, writ large. But I have to ask you, as we're on the phone here now, you have doubts about the guilt of your two nephews? Is that what you're telling me now?
It's not even doubts. I strongly believe these boys are innocent.
Why would you ever believe that, Ms. Sarnaev? Why would you ever believe that?
Because
you don't believe the photos? You don't. Why were they in a gunfight with law enforcement agents? Why was one of them found with an IED on his body?
But who said they were in the middle of this?
Ms. Sarnaev, I work for NYPD Intelligence. I know the guys who are out there doing this. They're not liars. They're brave Americans. Why would they make any of this up?
If that happened, why don't we have any material that can be shown to people?
We have tons of material. We have photos. We have eyewitnesses.
Where are they? All I hear on the public TV is, these officials said this, those officials said that, and information that
we have surveillance footage. We have the dead body of one of your nephews who was in a shootout with police. He had an IED strapped to his chest. Ms. Sarnaev, they're accused of killing an 8-year-old boy. You have got to be kidding me.
Buck's a little indignant there.
He wrote to me. And he said, "I apologize. I lost my temper." And I heard it, and I'm like, "You did better than I would have."
We would have gone blind.
Yeah, but it is. We are living in a world, because I thought about this weekend. We are living in a world, and this is why it's really important that I want you to know it is the law enforcement organizations, as Buck described them, the guys on the ground. There are many sources on what we reported today, and we have the evidence. And what evidence we are not allowed to have because of an ongoing investigation or it's classified or whatever, we know the evidence is in the hands that can produce it.
We also have an administration that wanted nothing more than to blame this on a right-wing Christian.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, the last thing in the world anybody in this government wanted to do was blame this on Muslims.
Right. So we're living in a world where we have to correct the truth. We have people who are saying, correct the truth, make sure the truth is told here. Don't cover this stuff up. Because, quite honestly, you keep doing this and you keep covering things up, two things happen. One, the Bubba effect, which we have talked about on this program before. We don't have time now. We'll probably talk about it again later this week. Very important. Very important. They are sowing the seeds for the Bubba effect, and I believe they do it with glee. The second thing is, you're living in a time to where you can alter any pictures. You can alter absolutely anything. And if we are a society that no longer can trust the police, the FBI, the media, the government, well, what do you do? What do you do? How do you trust anything? When our society becomes a society where the media begins to root for your fellow American to be the bad guy, how do you survive that? It's why we don't care about being first. We don't care about being exclusive. We don't care if somebody else got all of the credit. It doesn't matter to us. It's why we held, and I said, come out with the truth. It is so much better if they will come out with the truth, because at least we'll have some semblance of trust for one another. If not, how do you fix this? I started the program today with Stu walking into the studio and saying, Glenn, how does a win look like on this? I said, I don't know what a win looks like on this. I don't know. I know what a loss looks like. And a loss looks like a government. There are things, because we are protecting sources, that I cannot say. But government officials have told Congressmen, I have no intention of telling you anything. And they did it with relish, because they are not afraid of Congress, and they are not afraid of you. Unless we gather together and empower the congressmen who are standing up to these bullies and thugs, unless we unite and say, if those media outlets don't want to cover it and are going to be part of a disinformation campaign, or at best just kind of bury the story, I want nothing to do with them. If we don't do those things now, there will be no one left to trust. And you have yourself a little dictatorship, because a dictatorship happens when there's no balance of power. When there's nobody, there's no check, there's no balance. And they know there's no check or balance, because they don't fear the American people, and they don't fear the Congress. They don't fear the media. They don't fear getting exposed. They can just make anybody who exposes them into a conspiracy theorist. They can crush them. I heard on MSNBC this morning, as I was turning around and flipping around, and I'm looking what people are saying and covering, and Joe Scarborough, the conservative that he is, says, how is it this government and this president doesn't just call people up in Congress and say, I will crush you, I will destroy you, unless you go my way? They were cheering for it. Joe, I've got news for you. Be outside of the cheering section for this president. This president does do that. This president and his minions make it extraordinarily clear. You will not survive. Let me see if I can remember the quote. Oh, I remember now. The ship has sailed. You're either on it or you are not. The difference used to be in America that we don't destroy people who don't agree with us. And that's the way we have to find ourselves back in that place. We can disagree on a lot of things, but we're disagreeing on principles and the difference between right and wrong, good and evil, truth and deceit. We don't destroy each other. We help each other. We admit to our mistakes. We correct if we were mistaken. And we help each other. That's what Americans do. That is not what progressives do. And that's certainly not what jihadists do.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.